The Maiden Who Loved Man. Once upon a time, in a village nestled deep within a verdant valley, there lived a young maiden named Alara. She was as beautiful as the dawn itself, her hair as golden as the sun, her eyes as green as the spring grass, and her smile soft and sweet, like the petals of a blooming rose. Alara had grown up in a peaceful world, surrounded by the beauty of nature and the warmth of the people she loved. Yet, despite her serene existence, there was a longing in her heart, a longing for love. The village was small with only a few dozen families, and the people there lived simple, content lives. They worked the land, tended to animals, and celebrated the seasons with festivals of music and dance. But the heart of every young woman in the village was drawn to the idea of love, and Alara's heart, too, was full of this longing. She had heard stories of great loves, tales of knights who fought for their ladies, of maidens whose hearts were won with words and gestures of deep affection. She dreamt of such love, of a love so powerful that it would sweep her away from her peaceful, familiar world into a new life filled with adventure and passion. But Alara had always been cautious in her affections. She had seen her friends fall in love with young men from the village, only for their passions to fade over time. The relationships turned stale, and she would watch as the once bright spark between them dimmed into something more ordinary. She had vowed to herself that she would not fall for someone easily. No, her love had to be something rare, something worth waiting for. One spring day, as the fields around the village burst into bloom, a young man named Kale appeared. He was tall, with dark hair and eyes that shone like the night sky. He had come from a neighboring kingdom, a place beyond the mountains, to help with the harvest. The moment Alara saw him, something stirred within her. She watched as he worked alongside the villagers, his strong hands and confident manner quickly earning him the respect of all. He had a quiet presence that seemed to make everything around him feel alive, like the earth itself had woken up at his arrival. Over the weeks that followed, Alara could not stop thinking about him. She would find excuses to visit the fields, where Kale worked, to watch him from a distance. His movements were fluid and purposeful, and there was a strength in the way he carried himself. But it was not just his outward appearance that caught her attention, it was his kindness. She saw how he would help an elderly woman gather firewood, how he would offer to carry heavy bundles of grain for the children, and how he would smile at the villagers as though he truly cared for them. Yet, despite her growing affection, Alara remained cautious. She did not want to fall for him too quickly, nor did she want to risk her heart. But as the days turned into weeks, and the two crossed paths more often, she found herself growing more and more fond of him. They would exchange polite words when they saw each other, and sometimes they would sit together by the riverbank at dusk, listening to the birds sing as the sky painted itself in hues of pink and lavender. Kale spoke of his homeland beyond the mountains, of distant lands filled with strange wonders and people, and Alara would listen intently, imagining herself by his side, exploring the world with him. But even as her heart grew fonder of him, Alara's doubts remained. She wondered if he would truly love her as she loved him, or if it was merely a passing fancy, a fleeting attraction that would fade with time. She feared that her dreams of great love might be just that, dreams, never to be realized. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Alara stood at the edge of the village, looking out over the vast fields that stretched towards the mountains. She was lost in thought when she heard the sound of footsteps behind her. Turning, she saw Kale walking towards her, his face illuminated by the soft golden light of the setting sun. "Alara," he said, his voice calm and warm. "I've been wanting to speak with you." Her heart skipped a beat, and she smiled softly, though her mind raced with 1,000 thoughts. "Of course, Kale. What's on your mind?" He took a step closer, his gaze steady but gentle. "I've been thinking about something for a while now," he said, pausing for a moment. "And I've come to realize that it's something I can't ignore any longer." Alara's breath caught in her throat. Could it be? Could he possibly feel the same way she did? Kale took a deep breath, his eyes not leaving hers. "Alara, I've come to love this village, and I've come to love the people here. But most of all, I've come to love you. I don't know when it happened or how it happened, but I can't imagine my life without you in it. You have been in my thoughts, in my dreams, and I feel a connection between us that I cannot ignore. Alera's heart raced, her doubts fading into nothingness. The love she had longed for, the love she had feared would never come, was standing before her. Kale, she whispered, her voice trembling. I love you too. I've loved you from the moment I saw you. But I was afraid that my heart would be broken, that this love would be like the others, fading away with time. Kale smiled, a warm, tender smile that made Alera's heart swell. Love is never easy, he said softly. It's not always grand gestures or magical moments, but it's real and it's worth fighting for. I want to fight for us, Alera. I want to build something lasting, something beautiful, with you. And in that moment, as the stars began to twinkle above them and the night air carried the scent of wildflowers, Alera knew that her heart had found its true home. Kale was the man she had always dreamed of, kind, strong, and full of love. Together, they would create a life full of adventure, love, and joy. The days that followed were filled with laughter and shared moments. Alera and Kale spent their days working side by side, and their nights wrapped in each other's arms. Their love grew stronger with each passing day, a love that was as steady and enduring as the mountains that loomed over the village. And as time went on, Alera learned that true love was not something that could be found in stories or dreams. It was something that could be built, day by day, with trust, kindness, and a deep connection that could never be broken. In the years that followed, the two of them grew old together, their love only deepening with time. And as they sat on the porch of their cottage, watching the sun set over the valley, they knew that they had found something rare, a love that was not fleeting, but eternal. And so, in the quiet beauty of the valley, the maiden who had once longed for love found it in the most unexpected place, in the heart of the man who had come to love her as deeply as she loved him.